This is a movie you can only watch once in a lifetime. After reading it,
you absolutely wouldn't dare open it a second time.
People tend to express all their anger and hatred. He vented it to the family who bought him. But when the whole village became an accomplice, every hope he sparked, perhaps it was just another despair. During this process, you'll discover an even more heartbreaking fact. Clear the entire movie. An extremely heavy core viewpoint running throughout. Trapped, a person's fate is often not just due to initial unfair treatment. It was also the usual coldness and bystanding as everyone around was used to. This is another example of director Li Yang's work after Blind Mountain. Today, let's use an objective perspective, re-examining this soul-stirring work. The female lead, Bai Shimei, is a university graduate who has just entered society. She is pure and kind, eager to share the financial burden for the family. These are truly precious qualities, but in that particular environment, it became his weak spot for being used. While repeatedly hitting walls in her job search, Shimei met a seemingly enthusiastic fifth sister. The other party easily deceived Shimei's trust with gentle lies. She promised to take her into the mountains to buy medicinal herbs, earning several hundred yuan each time. Under immense survival pressure and trust in human nature, Shimei boarded the bus that was heading deep into the mountains. As the bus weaves through bumpy mountain roads, the towering cliffs on both sides, like a stone wall slowly closing together, hinting at his fate, that he was about to lose control and reach his destination. The villagers gathered around, looking at Shimei with eyes as if picking and scooping goods. In the eyes of these people, the young woman before them was not a life of dignity, but rather a shipment about to be sold. After drinking a bowl of water from the villagers, Shimei fell asleep. When she woke up again, her companion had already disappeared. His ID card and wallet also disappeared. He was greeted by 40-year-old villager Huang Digui and his wife. Family members, coldly declare the truth to you.
The person you sold to your son as a wife.
At the time, 7,000 yuan might have been the hard-earned money an ordinary family had saved over half a lifetime. But in this unethical deal, it became the price of a female college student's freedom and human rights. In this secluded forest, money transactions prevailed above legal principles. It became an unshakable rule in the hearts of these people to protect this investment. The royal family placed strict surveillance on Shimei. Because of his desperate resistance and refusal, Huang Digi found it difficult to approach him for the time being. But the royal parents outside the door showed no intention of stopping her at all. Instead, she blamed her son for being weak and unable to get things done. Soon after, the whole family stepped forward and completely deprived him of any room to resist. In that dimly lit mud-tiled house, Shimei's dignity and freedom were mercilessly crushed. In this detail, the attitude of the elderly mother is especially poignant. She is also a woman. Years ago, I experienced the same confusion and helplessness. But in the magic of time, not only did he compromise with such unfairness, but he actually became a supporter. This absurd order is the strongest link. This may not be an isolated accidental act, but rather through long-term collective tacit approval. It gradually became a lifestyle accepted by everyone. Unwilling to accept the appointment, Shimei began trying to escape. As he desperately ran out of the courtyard toward the village entrance, but the person approaching them was not Xianglin, who had reached out to help. It was a wall of flesh made up of the whole village. They calmly blocked Shimei, as if watching a play. In despair, Shimei ran to the village chief. He begged her to stand up for him, but she only responded coldly. In a village where group interests and traditional order are paramount, he chose to protect the private interests of the locals over the dignity of the law. Even more ironically, when the personnel collecting the pig farming tax passed by Shimei, he frantically slammed on the window for help, but the other party only glanced at him indifferently. Then he started joking with Huang Digui, who was a girl.
When the enforcers of order strip away indifference from temperature, turning it into the coldest pusher,
after experiencing setbacks after defeats, Shimei realized that direct confrontation alone would not solve the problem. Persuaded by Chen Jie, who was also trapped here, she began to learn to hide herself. He even cut his long hair short, attempting to lower the royal guard's defenses through submission. At this stage, the director cleverly sets up 3 different characters. They represent the only 3 human dimensions around Xue. The first is Huang Diqing, Huang Digui's cousin. She is also the only teacher in the village. When she speaks, Wenya sent Xue a book, showing deep sympathy. He promised to help her leave Xue to grasp this one and only straw. In the end, he made the most helpless and heartbreaking compromise. But when their relationship was exposed, this scholar who always talks about warmth and salvation, his selfish nature was immediately exposed. He chose to settle the matter with compensation, carrying his luggage. The existence of the character escape alone is evident. Sometimes, so-called knowledge does not bring true conscience. No sense of morality, no restraint of nobility, just more deceptive selfishness. The second is a mail carrier. He was originally Xue only channel for connecting with the outside world. Xue repeatedly hoped to entrust him with a distressed trust. But after accepting bribes from 2 royal old hens, this seemingly upright man, he then returned all the letters to Huang Degi with a clear conscience. Responsibility and rules, tempted by minor interests, easily collapse. This turns every cry for help from victims into futile struggles. The third is Xue's only faint light, Li Qingshan. He is a left-behind child who dropped out because he couldn't afford tuition. When the whole village chose to go blind, only this child maintained genuine kindness, secretly delivering hot eggs, and offer free tutoring in Xue. After she started studying, silently taking the long route, carrying that seal to the pass. An important letter was sent out of the mountains. She also helps us understand, kindness is often an instinctive choice. In the face of reputation and profit, those considered adults who understood the rules betrayed the principles. But the purest warmth is preserved in a child who can't even afford tuition to save up 40 yuan for the runaway travel expenses. Xue endured a humiliating and helpless compromise at the convenience store. Finally, I boarded the bus heading to the county town. The world outside the car door did not open its arms to her. When Huang Degui led villagers to intercept the bus and forcibly take people away, the passengers inside the carriage showed an astonishing silence. Some people looked at each other and turned their distances. Some complained it was a waste of time, but not a single person stepped forward. Even more frustrating was a passing patrol officer. After hearing Huang Degui's reasonable explanation that Xue was mentally unstable, so they didn't investigate further, letting them handle it themselves. In the end, right in front of everyone, Xue fell into the mire once again. This scene vividly portrays the coldness and indifference. Compared to the ignorance deep in the mountains, the coldness of the outside world is even more destructive. Because those pairs of eyes pretending not to see, it became an invisible brick and stone that reinforced the shackles. Not long after Xue discovered she was pregnant, after struggling desperately, especially when I witnessed the one in the pond by the village being mistaken, after disposing of new life like waste, driven by her deepest instincts and a compromise with survival, she quietly gave birth to the child. The birth of the child made the Huang family believe they had completely locked him in, and at that moment, the letter Li Qingshan quietly sent finally had its effect. Xue's father arrived in the village with 2 police officers. The resistance to the rescue far exceeded expectations. All the villagers grabbed tools and surrounded the police car.
Blind dates, blind dates, blind dates, blind dates. You also work in service. If your daughter is trafficked, what are your interests? We must put ourselves in other shoes. If we have a master, we can't.
You have to pay me compensation.
For safety, the police could only decide to temporarily return to the village committee to contact the armed police and provide reinforcements. Xue's father waited alone in the village. After the police left, Huang Degi, to prevent any unnecessary complications, attempting to forcibly transfer Xue, the old father desperately stopped him, but the young and strong Huang Digui pushed him hard to the ground. Watching his elderly father, his face covered in wounds, collapse to the ground, listening to the noisy crowds watching the excitement around them, Xue's years of suppressed pain and resolve. At this moment, the final blow was unleashed. He casually picked up the kitchen knife beside him. The film ends abruptly here, in the overseas edition. The scene froze on him covered in blood, but on his unusually calm face, and within the country. In the released version, a large number of police officers finally feel rescued, but the price was that he had to leave the child in the mountains. After watching Blind Mountain, what remains for the audience is a lingering sense of oppression and contemplation. Bei Xuemei's final swing was the result of countless times she sought help. After countless rounds of indifference, he was forced into self-defense. He could have had hands capable of writing a beautiful life. In the end, he was forced to raise the iron blade that symbolized the end. It was named Blind Mountain, carrying profound meaning. Blindness is not a physical loss of vision, but a voluntary result of the mind and conscience. Close your eyes. The people in the mountains know. What do his tears represent? The passers-by in the carriage understood this well. The helplessness behind the desperate plea for help. But due to various concerns and resistance to trouble, everyone consciously made their choices. Be an invisible blind person. As we emphasize throughout this article, the core point, what traps a person's fate is often not just the unfair treatment before their eyes. It was also the usual coldness and bystanding, as everyone around was used to. Don't let us become accustomed to the details of daily life. It has become a mountain that others cannot cross when they call for help. May each of us, when witnessing others sink into the mire, never be a blind observer who watches coldly. May sunlight pierce through the countless mountains, illuminating those forgotten corners, truly warming every heart longing for freedom.